Good morning. Can you state your name and occupation for the video?
David Wilson, president of Morgan State University here in Baltimore.
Okay. And it's come to our attention that you've attended Rosenwald School. Is that true?
Yes,
Okay. Which one did you attend?
I attended a Rosenwald school in Marengo County, Alabama, in a small town by the name of McKinley.
Okay. How old were you and what years was it?
I attended the Rosenwald school from grades 3 through 5, and I believe I was maybe 9 through 12 years old, somewhere in that range. My father had a system in place where we could only go to school 2 days 1 week, and we'd stay out 3, and 3 days the next week and go out 2.
Did that experience have any negative effect on your motivation? Just since it was so hard to go to school when you actually got there, did you notice like, okay, maybe I don't always want to be here?
Yeah, and so let me kind of put this in context. I started out in first grade at a school in Perry County, Alabama. It was not a Rosenwald school, but the name of that school was Uniontown Negro Elementary School. And I went there from grades 1 to 2nd grade. And then we moved to Marengo County. And when we moved to Marengo County, I was going into the 3rd grade, and that is when I started to attend the Rosenwald School. Now, while I was growing up, we lived in a shanty with no electricity and no indoor plumbing and none of the so-called modern conveniences. And so it would be very, very cold inside of this little shanty in the winter. And my mom would always figure out ways to keep us warm. And so the whites on whose property we lived would bring down to our house Look and Life magazines. And they weren't bringing them there for us to read, but they knew that my mom would use them to plaster them against the walls to keep the cold wind out of the shanty. I would literally come home from the fields and at night would grab a kerosene lamp and read the pages of Look and Life magazines. And it was as a result of that I became really, really fascinated by the magic of education and how transformative education could be. And I would read all these incredible stories from the walls of this shanty, covering things from all over the world. And so that was really when I began to kind of understand what education was and what education could do for you. And so that was sort of my beginning knowledge of basically that which had been kept away from us. The Rosenwald School, this McKinley School, many of these schools were typically built on the grounds of local churches. And so they may be called the Hebron School because it was on the grounds of Hebron Baptist Church. In this case, it was called the McKinley School because it was on the grounds of Bethel Baptist Church. And
So what do you feel would have been different if you did not attend Rosenwald School for your elementary school education?
what would have been different? I think I would have been able to grasp the importance of education sooner, even though I had to do that from reading the pages of Look and Life magazines. I think that I would have done much, much better in undergraduate school. I struggled my first semester in undergrad school because I missed so much quality time from school early on. And so it took me a while to make up for all of that. And I think had I gone to a school that was better equipped, that was more resourceful, then those gaps would not have been there. And so that's sort of on the negative side. But kind of on the positive side, the relationships that were developed there in the Rosenwald School amongst all of the students, some of those are enduring today. And you know, that's been whatever 45 years or so, right? And so I really value, you know, that opportunity to basically be that close to so many other young people, 20 or so, and so we all kind of grew up together and supported each other and encouraged each other along the way.
Okay. You spoke earlier about the location of the school being in a church.
On church grounds.
On church grounds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So other than reading and arithmetic, did you have any religious aspect?
No.
In your everyday schooling?
No, we had devotion in the morning, and every morning we had devotion, as I recall. And devotion, it went something like the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and I think we sang like "My Country 'Tis of Thee," and someone basically led us in prayer, which was typically the Lord's Prayer. But it had absolutely no religious foundation or religious denominational to it.
Okay. Now, did your motivation to work for an HBCU today come from your Rosenwald experience?
No. So I went to undergrad school at Tuskegee University, or Tuskegee Institute at the time, and so that's a little reason behind that. As I said to you, I did not go to school full time until I was in the 7th grade, and so my 7th grade teacher was the late Mrs. Luvinia Abernathy Coates, and she was the sister of civil rights leader Ralph Abernathy, and so she taught me 6th grade, and so at the end of my 6th grade year, she remarked something to me like, "David, you know you have a lot of potential, and you should be thinking about college." That's the first time that anyone had ever mentioned the word college to me. And so I went, college, and so I could not get that out of my mind. And so I came home and I said to my father, I said, you know, Mrs. Coates said that I should be thinking about college. I said, you know, I think I want to go to college. And so he said to me, he said, boy, you know, college, he said, college is for white people. And so we didn't talk much more about that. So I got into the 9th grade and began to show some academic potential. A teacher, shop teacher by the name of Mr. H.L. Charlo took an interest in me and 3 or 4 more young men at what was the Marengo County Training School. And he said, you know, I think you guys have some potential to maybe go to college. And so I want to take you to the college, right? I mean, whoa, what college? And so he was a graduate of Tuskegee. And Tuskegee, each year to this day, they have something called an annual farmers conference. It lasts like 4 days, and the campus is just brimming with people from all over. And so he came up to our house, got my parents' permission to allow me to go over with him and 4 more students from the school. And we went to Tuskegee, and it was a life-changing experience. When I stepped on those grounds and I saw the statue of Booker T. Washington lifting the veil of ignorance from his people through progress and labor and hard work and kind of pointing the way forward. And I visited the laboratory of George Washington Carver and then walked beyond the campus and saw a black middle class that I absolutely did not know exist. And I saw these unbelievable homes that blacks were living in with well-manicured lawns and nice cars. And there were lawyers and doctors and professors. And it's like, whoa, what in the world is this? I've never seen this before. And so I came back to Marengo County Training School with one focus. It was, I was going to do everything in my power to go to Tuskegee.